Hey, good morning. It's DTM, and today I'm just going to make some orange juice, and it looks like I'm back in the swing of things. What was crazy is that when I did that video marathon, when I came back, out of my little turtle shell, it's just been a long story, really, like with the whole thing that's been going on, the ups and downs and the ins and outs of several times being in the red zone. I explained that on the last video with the with what's going on with the big tech, whatnot, social media, and that's been going on for years with me, just off and on. With maybe talking about certain types of things, words I don't even really want to say anymore, just because I am in the red zone. But I really want to keep this thing going, and I was really stoked to see that Google AdSense check after I did that video marathon, because I was like, wow, you could actually, like, if you could kind of keep this rate going, basically, like if I could make like a video a day, it could be, a viable income. I could invest more energy into the YouTube, which I'd like to do because it's really fun. But at the same time, you can understand that I don't want to put all my marbles in one basket, or what's the saying? All my, I don't know, put all my eggs into one basket, because it's pretty volatile, and a lot of people have had to leave. I just wanted to get real creative with this because, it's been, I don't really have the technical skill to like start over on some other platform or something, you know what I mean? Because I had a lot of help, mostly from Krista in the beginning, and then it just really took off, and I had a lot of algorithms, and also at the time people were stoked about the raw foods. It made sense, but the long-term effects of living foods is a totally different journey than the average person is going to be able to comprehend. So when they start getting to the deeper layers of the work that needs to be done, it's easier to go back to the heavier foods that have no outward expansion but an inward pulling. So it contracts the vital force down into the gut with the heavier foods, and then you don't have to process lifetimes of karma and family patterns and traumas and abuses, and all the way back to the single-celled amoeba, of life, of the raping and the slaughtering and the murdering of each other for millions of years, basically. And so it was really, the living foods was at one time much more popular, because it, Dave Asprey is one of my favorite examples. I went vegan for 3 weeks and my teeth were falling out and I got 17 different diseases. It's like he's a drama queen, because he's always bashing plant-based, or plants are bad for you, eat bacon and drink coffee, so, which is kind of the opposite of, what I would say to do. But bacon is delicious and it'll slow everything down and it'll just stop, and then you can just stay on an even keel. But if you're an evolver, if you need those sattvic, simple, plain, basic, whole, nourishing foods that are non-stimulating, so that you can have a sattvic mind or a peaceful, calm, steady mind, there's, different layers. There's just the stillness and the peace of the sattvic mind, which is like almonds and figs and oranges and, other simple, plain, basic, whole foods that are non-stimulating without a lot of stimulants or spices. If you go around the world and you look at the culinary, the culinary culture of these other societies, where most of them put like hella spices and hella everything, and hella meat and grease and oil, and fry all the herbs and the vegetables and the spices, to death. And, a lot of, because no one's going to say, there isn't going to be any travel vlogs on, hey, we went to an orange field and we ate organic oranges. We took our clothes off in the sun and we could feel the presence of the Lord, Nobody's going to like, you know what I'm saying? But when you go and you see this big fried fish and how they roll it up and wrap it up in bread and spread it all over with spices, that's where the food porn comes in. And so food porn is super popular. Even raw food porn was kind of popular for a minute there too, But for some of us, we just got hit by the light and we just stayed on the course, And we learn from staying the course, like what is it that is going on with so many people? No, it's not. I'm not trying to tell anyone how to eat or anything like that. You have to have a specific kind of purpose, in order to keep going. You have to have a lot of understanding as well. Because if you miss out on the stimulating, tasty, delicious foods of society, and that's a part of your program, which is totally fine. Not everyone wants to be like a yogi who can meditate in stillness and wants to still and calm and regenerate the brain and nervous system. But, for me, what I had to do after years of different types of abuse and different types of, long-term bad habits, I really have to heal my brain and nerves, So that's what I'm doing. And so these fruits are pretty much the best because they have the most amount of electricity, plus they're the least obstructive. And you want that blood flow to get to those nerves, and you don't want irritants and mucus to build up around the nerves, because then that will be in a constant state of anxiety, tension, even depression sometimes when there's inflammation. And so it's just really like the detox thing is real, but the depth of it is hard for people to comprehend, because when you were a baby, you had the well baby visits, and then you got exposed to things that are caustic, and they got, depending upon your glutathione levels and your nutrition and your stress levels in your house and whatnot, you might have detoxified better than other people, depending on the blood-brain barrier and many other factors. So some children, babies, have better detoxification than others, But either way, everyone's been exposed, and a lot of times those microscopic chemicals, now it's nanoscopic chemicals that we have to deal with. So we have to keep learning. But the thing is there's deeper levels of energy than even the wave particles from the radiation, which you can transcend. And there's actually higher vibrational frequencies that you can use to detoxify yourself, even with the nanoparticles, So, but you got to keep on. It's like, oh, geez, now what's next? I don't even know what's smaller than nanoparticles, quarks, But you're working with energy frequencies to be able to, you're building and enhancing the vibrational frequency, obviously with your diet, but also with your thoughts and your emotions, and and the most strongest is the love. So loving yourself, forgiving everyone, and even all the people that are trying to do damage, and all the arguing and fighting, it'll just damage you. So just go to the woods like I do and just sit there, and then you're like, huh, it's wonderful. I just sat in the woods the other day. It was really epic. I basically go there every day. Today is yoga, and then a bike ride through the desert. I'm going to drive out down south towards Phoenix, and then go on a long bike ride on a long deserted road. I wish it was more deserted. I would take my clothes off, but there will be a few cars, but the cars are very few and far between, and it's out in these mountains in the desert. So I'll just blast on a 10-mile ride, And then I'm gonna go to the hot spring and soak. That's why I'm putting together an extra orange juice this morning. I'm gonna make 2 quarts, take one with me, and then I've got the red juice from yesterday's video, which I still haven't posted yet. I reviewed it and I liked it. I liked it myself. And then this is cucumber juice. So I'm just gonna take a couple juices, some OJ, some water. I'll drink like about a gallon while sitting in the hot springs. Then I'll lay in the sun. And then I've got a massage with a really great therapist tonight at this place. I have to drive way down there because there's nobody here. There is a couple of cool Chinese ladies, but they're like, you can feel their vibe is more like, anyways, it's not as pure, and wholesome. And these other ladies are real professionals, and they're excellent at anatomy, physiology, and they have different styles. So I kind of vacillate between them every week. I'll take a different one and just stay on top of it. That's really a part of my nervous system, was because a lot of us didn't get nurtured. I'm still craving it. So a lot of times people will be like, oh, you want sex? It's like, not really. I can do without that, but can I just lay my head in your lap? So it's hard for, the world wants to jump right in and just put it in and go in and out, instead of, well, hold on a minute here. I actually just want some human, kind of nourishment. There's no better nourishment than between 2 mature, conscious individuals who are unconditionally, blessing each other. Whether you look at it as like masculine, feminine, or even like getting body work from a male friend of yours or something like that. It's different, of course, but what happens is you don't want to get it too, sexualized, but that's kind of like where most of our heads are because of the food. Is one of the big reasons. Of course, the thoughts too, the latent programs that have been running for, again, we're all fairly innocent. I mean, nature was like, well, let's fill the earth and subdue it, so let's make them really horny, and that's what it did. And so here we are taking over the earth, the humans, because they learned how to grow food, and so there's plenty of food, which then makes it so if there's plenty of food, then you want to mate. I think I said that on the last video because you'll realize when you start fasting, water fasting, or even juice fasting or fruit diet. Juice and fruit diet, less so, but like when you're strict water fasting, the last thing on your mind after about day 3, 4, 5, it kind of just ends, and you're like, it could be a whole stack of beautiful ladies laid out before you, and you'd be like, well, let me get something to eat when I'm done with this fast, and then I'll talk to you. You're just not interested. So when you're fasting, you're just not interested in sex. And then when you're taking the simple, plain, wholesome, sattvic, non-stimulating foods, you're also more just chill. You can take it or leave it. You can make love, but it's not. But what happens is when you get when you go to these other countries, or in America where there's food porn and additives and all these spices, it irritates and inflames the gonads of the male and the female of the human species. And then you want to, scratch that itch. So a lot of us are made out of stimulation as opposed to love vibration, which would come more from the type of diet that I've been trying to espouse for 13 years here on the YouTube, and not everyone's going to want to dig that. They're like, I want the spicy and I want to pump. But the thing is a lot of times negative stuff can come out of that, unconscious things, a child that wasn't meant to be, and then it's all stress, or unhealthy children because the people are not eating wholesome, natural foods that would allow for the full development of the brain, of the nerves, of the teeth, of the bones, of the organs. So again, hopefully before I die, I'm going to put together like a 3 or 6 hour long class on my Patreon to leave that as a legacy piece, which is how to create super healthy babies, because nobody talks about it. I'm sure it's out there somewhere. But I'm talking about high vibrational, fully developed and fully incubated, really plump, healthy babies of light, where the brain and the nerves are already developed for a higher consciousness, where the higher consciousness has already been programmed into the neurons and into the nervous system. So a child that is seeking the light from birth, already, instead of all the pain and the sadness and the suffering from the mucus overload from the baby formulas and the mom's diet and all the drugs that are taken before, during, and after birth. And then the children don't get a chance to develop. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm trying to say, don't end up like me, like a kind of a halfway developed sort of mongoloid, Like, I've done well by, eating good and exercising and really trying hard to develop neuroplasticity with yoga every day, which then makes you like, oh, I'm like an almost 50 years old man. I can still put my hands flat on the floor, you know what I'm saying? And I can do squats and hike 10 miles because, I built on top of a mediocre, because there's a lot of people that have a weak constitution because their parents were really stressed out or really on a bad diet or really doing a lot of drugs. My mom, fortunately, she did put out some effort, as best as she could as a 16-year-old girl, you know what I mean? So thankfully I have, I'm working with, and then I've had to accept that. So many people are like, well, I'm this, I'm that, I'm not this, I'm not that. And I get it. Like, I've judged myself for 47 years every day. And I'm using therapy to get through that. To be like, hey, it's okay to be me. It's okay to have, because of the social media and everything, it's okay to be a mature man with grays and wrinkles. It's actually pretty sexy. I've been looking at myself like, man, you're a badass, bro. You're a man, you know what I'm saying? It's like awesome. So I'm more celebrating it now instead of the society which worships the youth. But the youth are like a bunch of TikTokers just wasting their life away. When you get mature, you're like calling your friends and helping them and taking care of yourself. You're being like a light in the world. Like, what's the best thing you can do to make the world a good place? Be the happiest, best, most enlightened version of yourself. You don't even have to say anything to anyone. You're emanating a frequency. My favorite saying that I actually coined is, what you are speaks so loudly I can't hear a word you're saying. In other words, so what we do in this society is, hey, we talk the talk, we wear the clothes, we get the car, we have this nice outer shell, but inside we're dying. So we're emanating this death on top of, I have millions in the bank and a fancy car, and my wife has, or my girlfriend has big, beautiful boobs, and I'm still not happy. What's wrong with me, And so getting to the root of some of those things and regenerating yourself is like the key, and then you're emanating like your frequency. What you become is very, very important. So you start the work now, you get into it for life, and you do it till the end of the road, to the top of the mountain, which is either A, enlightenment, or death. And then you come back with your good karma, the good karma that's left over as an energy frequency, not the same body, but the karma frequencies left over that are, the trajectory of unresolved desires, and then it's all those desires are reborn again into another meat suit, and you pick up where you left off. Not everyone believes that, but I've heard it so many times from all my trusted sources, and many times you'll have, when you get deeper into fasting or whatever, you'll have these own experiences yourself. So anyways, I'll wrap it up in about 20 minutes here. I just wanted to get back into the flow again. And so hopefully, by the way, everything goes well and I don't ever say anything that's off. and then we get to continue this relationship here. But if I ever do dip out, just remember you can always find me on Patreon on the Elite Video Club and check in with what DTM's doing, because I plan on growing and evolving and also becoming a better teacher as well. Over there, I've just become more and more confident and more relaxed. And so the Patreon has kind of been the biggest blessing out of everything that's happened on the social media for the last 13 years ago. In fact, it's coming up, my 13th anniversary is coming up real soon. I'll make a video for that. But hopefully everything continues to go well here, and I continue to be a good little Johnny or a good little Danny on the YouTube and whatnot. And we just stick to the basics, stick to the facts, with truth before facts, you know. Anyways, don't even go that road, dude. Don't even do it. Your advisor says no politics. I'm really big into what's going on because I see it as like a really beautiful, awesome, perfect thing that's happening on Earth right now. So hopefully you picked up something on today's video and your life is better for it, and you go out and go forth and have an epic life, have fun, enjoy the down times, enjoy the up times. Just remember you're the one that's right in the center all the time. Just you're the witness, awareness, consciousness. And so you don't have to take any of it too personally. You know what I mean? So keep transcending and evolving and growing and moving through and letting go and surrendering into the Most High that you have inside of you, and everything will just work itself out. You know, the more deeper you surrender and say, look, I can't handle it, you handle it. You know, the man upstairs, the big cheese, the Most High, God, whatever you want to call it, you know, just like, dude, you do it. I'm done. You know, I'm sick of stressing out. I'm sick of the anxiety, the subtle anxiety, you know. And you can just relinquish all that anxiety and you'll be like, I don't care what happens, you know. I don't care what happens. I'm just going to have fun because it's only going to be, it's just like so short. So go out there and live, ladies and gentlemen. I'm about to have an epic day. I'm assuming. I feel great. Didn't sleep much last night, so I'm a little frizzle fried, but we get up, we go, we do it. Hopefully tonight I get some better sleep, but I won't be back here till late. So it might be tomorrow night that I got to catch up. So thanks a lot for chilling with the GTM, and you know what to do with the thumbs up and the subscribing and the commenting to help me in the algorithms and all that good stuff. So Jah be praised. Jah be praised. DTM.